It feels right appropriate that the feast of the Confession of St. Peter is being celebrated today, because it becomes between our reading from last Sunday, where we hear John's account of Jesus proclaiming Simon's new name as Cephas, or Peter. This coming Sunday, we will hear Matthew's account of Jesus declaring, of Jesus getting ready to call Peter and his brother Andrew and the sons of Zebedee into their ministry. And today, we hear Matthew's account later, after this calling narrative that we'll hear Sunday, where Jesus declares Peter as the rock on which he will build the church, a true living into the name Peter, or rock. Now, we have many accounts of Peter and his deeds, and some of them, like what we hear today, are marvelous. They give a really good depiction and sense of who Peter was. Then we have other passages, like the one that immediately follows our reading from today, where Peter, at his lowest, has Jesus cry out to him, "Get behind me, Satan," because Peter dared to suggest that Jesus shrink away from his crucifixion. Even after the resurrection, the depictions we see of Peter's actions are mixed. On one hand, we see Peter listening to this vision that God presents him, telling him to let the Gentiles in to the church, to let them in as they are. On the other hand, Paul ends up chastising Peter for not always eating with these same Gentiles that he knows God wants to be a part of the church. Peter does not always eat with these people, depending on who else is there with him in the room. Yet there's hope in what we see in Peter, in both the good and the bad. Because here is someone who is clearly human, in all the best ways and in all the worst ways possible. And yet this person is still the one who is the first to proclaim Jesus as who Jesus truly is, as the Messiah and the Son of the living God. If Peter can recognize who Jesus is, with all the good and the bad that we see in Peter, then maybe we can too. It doesn't matter what else we can say about Peter, whether good or bad. The fact that in spite of all of who he is, good and bad, he's still the one to proclaim who Jesus is. And that's enough to give us hope that maybe we can too.